Hi, and welcome back to Mums and Microbes, the podcast where we discuss everything postpartum and gut microbiome when it comes to women's health. So, today I wanted to talk to you guys about the three signs that you might need postpartum support or more support in that postpartum period, and what that kind of looks like, depending on what kind of support you might need. So yeah, let's get going. I'm your host, Michaela. I'm a naturopath, I'm a postpartum doula, and a fellow mum, and I'm here to support you through the wild and beautiful journey of early motherhood. Today, we're talking about the three signs that you may need more support in postpartum, what that support looks like from a holistic standpoint, because obviously society is a bit warped when it comes to that bounce back culture and what a postpartum period actually looks like. So let's get going. So, the first sign that I wanted to talk about is that you're feeling like you're running on empty. You're constantly exhausted, you can't recharge, and even if you do get a solid night's sleep, magically, you still feel exhausted. So, fatigue is obviously going to be a part of every postpartum life. Babies wake. That's their job. They just wake up. They're hungry. They're waking up because they're cold. They're waking up because they need you. Whatever. We have established that. Beyond that, broken sleep giving some exhaustion, there is further things that you might want to look at as to why you're constantly exhausted and can't recharge, even after 1 or 2 nights of better sleep. There's definitely a difference between feeling tired and being depleted. So you're waking up and you're feeling like you got hit by a truck, you're finding it hard to function, you're crying all the time, and this is beyond that baby blues period. So maybe like past the first month, for example, or you're just not feeling yourself, that's a red flag that your nervous system, your hormones, and your nutrient stores might be needing some extra support. So, as a naturopath, I will often see mums with underlying deficiencies, whether that's iron, B12, so maybe some thyroid hormones that are out of whack post birth, or um, some other things relating to those in terms of hormone production. Maybe the magnesium's a bit low. Maybe they need extra Bs. Maybe they need some more focus on like nutritionally dense foods. Wow. So in that postpartum period, your body's just gone through like a massive transformation. So it's normal for it to be a little bit depleted, and obviously part of that postpartum period is re-establishing all your nutrient stores too, and focusing on what you need to sustain your baby's nutrient stores as well. But when we're thinking about blood loss, potentially like traumatic births, hemorrhaging, postpartum bleeding, etc., etc., hormonal shifts, and nutrient demands, if you're breastfeeding, all of these things are going to impact your nutrient stores, potentially impacting your levels of fatigue and wherever that's coming from, whether that is thyroid, whether that's adrenal glands, whether that's just, you know, not being able to get adequate sleep because your nervous system's so wired and you need some more support there. So, without enough recovery time or nourishment, you're going to end up depleted if you're not paying attention to those things. But you don't have to do it by yourself. That would be silly. We're part of the village. So, as a doula, this is where nourishing care, like meal preps, looking after mum more than focusing on baby. Because if mum's fine, baby's gonna be fine. Um, that's where that is really important, vital, so to speak. And that could look like someone coming into your house and prepping you meals. So you're getting those nutrients in to replace everything that you lost and support your current situation. It could look like someone setting up with herbal teas. And I often do this with new mums because, one, breastfeeding, if they are breastfeeding, extra water count. Also, the herbs are adding some extra nutrients in. They might be supporting uterine tone. They might be supporting her nervous system. Sometimes I'll use things like withania, potentially nettle, oat straw, maybe motherwort. It just depends on what kind of situation she's got and if we are focusing on any specific nutrient depletions. It also could look like booking a massage and getting someone to watch baby, or even putting baby, if they magically fall asleep at the same time as your massage, perfect. But popping them on the floor to do some tummy time while you're doing the massage. Or if you are lucky enough to have a masseuse that will baby wear while doing the massage, also a great option. But yeah, something that's going to support your nervous system and your recovery specifically so you don't feel that fatigue as deeply. And it is addressing that root cause of the fatigue. So all of those kind of supports that's going to help you feel rested, help you refuel properly, and feel supported because you're not supposed to be doing it alone. As much as the Western environment does facilitate isolated motherhood, there's definitely ways that you can work around it. But because of the environment in most Western countries, you do have to be proactive about it, which sucks. But having someone on your team like a doula or a naturopath or a bestie, if they live down the road, another mum, is step number one. So part two that you might need some further postpartum support, or sign two, whatever you want to do. You feel isolated or you feel unseen. So all things on the more emotional side of things. So you feel lonely, disconnected, emotionally unsupported. So obviously, again, one of the hardest parts of modern motherhood in this environment is how isolating it can be. Potentially that you're home all day with the baby, your husband's gone back to work or your partner's gone back to work, your family doesn't live close enough to visit you, you know, every couple of days, daily even, and your friends either work or they're not fellow mums, so they don't quite get it. So maybe you are crying in the laundry, or you're trying to get the washing out and the baby's just not going to sleep, or you're doom scrolling on your phone while they're having a nap because you don't know where else to get some emotional support. From a doula's perspective, obviously I can come into that and assist you with some emotional support depending if you are in a package deal or you want just a casual session. Obviously, I can't take care of all of it, but I can definitely give you a little bit of an emotional break as well as a physical break because it is about you, not just the baby. And having someone to check in on you, even if they are a doula, hold that space without judgment, validate your experience, especially as a fellow mum. I will have gone through everything that you're going through and remind you that you're feeling so normal and it's, yeah, real. Um, Obviously, we can recommend things like mums groups. There's plenty of local mums groups. You may not want to do such a group environment, and in that case, there's options like maybe looking at the Peanut app. It's kind of like a Tinder for mums, but I've definitely found a few friends on there that I feel like it's worth recommending. If your hospital or birth place did a mums group for that month, I know it's hard and it's really pushing yourself to go to it, but I promise you, just one fellow mum that's going through the same thing as you is so, so, so valuable. From a naturopathic standpoint, when we're feeling isolated, it's going to have a stress impact on our body too. So it's going to disrupt our ability to regulate ourselves. It's going to potentially disrupt our sleep, and it's going to give us a shitty mood. No questions. That's that stress and nervous system affecting your hormones as well, and can lead to inflammation. It can lead to blood sugar dysregulation, which is making everything so much worse. And it could potentially impact or drive postpartum depletion and postpartum depression, sorry, and postpartum anxiety. And this is where some of those tools from a naturopathic point that I bring in a lot help. So things like the withania, things like the nettle and the oats, and the motherwort and stuff like that. Magnesium baths. I can add herbs to magnesium baths. I've got a little herbal tea bag set up there that I often will bring to new mums, even if it's just the one time. Flower essences, I do use them sometimes, just depends, but Rescue Remedy can be a really valuable tool when you are in that early postpartum period and your emotions just feel like they're running away from you. You can just help settle things down just enough so you don't feel like you're going crazy. And gentle mood support with nutrients, depending on what that mum needs, things like the magnesium, things like Bs, maybe omega-3s, and obviously supporting her with dietary changes as well. And again, coming back to that community part, whether that is someone that you hire to come help you out, like a cleaner or a doula, or making sure your bestie has a regular date with you in terms of come over on a Saturday and just hang out with me. Finding another mum, going to mum's group, going to Kanga training or the gym or something like that. That support in terms of being proactive about finding a community, and setting up a just a regular, no pressure coffee date with someone that you know that can do that regularly. It doesn't have to be big, but it does have to be consistent. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to lose that lack of support and you won't feel as emotionally supported. And yes, this shouldn't just be on you. Obviously, if you have a partner, they will be providing some emotional support, but unless they're on maternity leave or able to be home with you, there will be a need for other people. If you have family that can come around, definitely make sure they're still coming around after the first few months, because it's still going to be lonely, especially if you're taking an extended maternity leave past the 4 paid months that we get from like Centrelink or whatever in Queensland. And the third sign that you might need further postpartum support is that you're just overwhelmed, you're unsure where to go for support or help, or like, you're just unsure and not trusting your mother intuition, second guessing yourself, so to speak. What pram is best? Should you co-sleep? Should you cot train? Why is your baby crying? Is this rash normal? Is it reflux? Google and doom scrolling may not help you. I mean, sure, there's some valid information and you might find something really key for that moment, but it can potentially perpetuate a postpartum anxiety kind of cycle. But if you are bouncing between opinions, books, forums, real, and it's disconnecting you from your intuition and your body and your baby, it's just adding to your mental load, and you probably should just chill, hopefully. Maybe just focus on one thing at a time, or seek some external support, validation, information from like a trusted source. Again, another space where a doula or naturopath or first line healthcare worker, like a doctor, for example, can come in, or another mum, even if it's something quite easy. All of these can be a trusted source of information as long as it's still supporting your intuition as a mum with your new baby and you're like still listening to that relationship, because that's number one. Everything else is second. Yeah, massive mental load, especially when you're a new first time mum and you potentially don't have your mum or mother-in-law or whatever to support you in that way, or you don't have any other mum friends. It's a massive new learning curve and a massive mental load. So finding someone that you can trust to go to for questions and information can be really helpful. Maybe not the local mums Facebook group. They don't always have your best interests at heart, and they don't know you and your baby as well as someone who actually knows you in person does. So yeah, trusted, grounded source of information. A postpartum doula in this instance is someone who's trained to assist you in this area without judgment. They should not be putting their opinions onto you. They just help you find the connection with your child or point you to where another trusted source of information is. So I can't tell you what to do necessarily. I can give you information and you can make that decision. But again, it's about supporting you and your baby's connection and making you or helping you become more confident in your motherhood. From a naturopathic perspective, a lot of this can be similar. We can point you to trusted sources of information. We can point you in the direction that might be helpful, but we can also support a nervous system that is dysregulated. So if you are constantly feeling overwhelmed and second guessing yourself, it could be that nervous system again, decision fatigue even, or just like you're stuck in that fight or flight response, which makes it hard to make decisions, makes it hard to sleep, to eat, to think in a clear, logical manner. So some support that might be helpful from a naturopathic perspective is herbal teas like lemon balm, passion flower, chamomile. Some of these aren't breastfeeding safe, so just, check first. Breath work, especially something that you're going to have to work on anyway, is just learning how to regulate yourself, because you're going to have to teach your child how to do it in the future anyway. So breath work, body work, going and using exercise as a release, journaling, restorative yoga, something gentle. It depends on where in your postpartum period you are with this too, because sometimes that might not be approachable. Um, and also about setting boundaries with your energy. So if you do find that you're doom scrolling a lot, put a timer on it. Put your phone somewhere else while baby's going to sleep or your whatever. Start reading a book instead, or just chill with baby. Take a mental break. Saying no to visitors who are taking too much of your mental energy or draining you, and carving out some time for yourself, even if that's like 5 minutes on the floor right next to baby while they're doing whatever they're doing, or going for a walk while they have a nap so you can listen to a podcast or some music that you like or something along those lines. But again, if you need that further support, please check in. My DMs are always open. And on to part 4, what that postpartum support can look like outside of what I've already mentioned. So it is different for everyone because everyone's postpartum period is so varied. Of course, there are similarities, but it's still going to be really individual for everyone. So a few examples, obviously, from my viewpoint, I would emphasize that community care. So joining a local mums group or an online community of mums that are in a similar situation or stage to you. Seeking body work, whether that's massage, acupuncture, or gym classes or whatever, if they have a local mums gym class. I know in Ipswich, where I am, they have the Ipswich Council offer like a free exercise class thingy. So you can go to a yoga class with your baby or a Pilates class with your baby. And there's also like park workout groups and stuff like that that you can do with your baby too. Doesn't always work out with nap time, but you know, you can try. Offering or asking for meal delivery or a nourishing food prep from family members, your mum, partner, whatever, or attempting to do it yourself too, if you've got that space. So bone broths, warming herbs and stews, herbal teas if you've got them, lots of rich, nutrient-dense foods that are going to serve you in that postpartum period and really help build up your reserves and help sustain baby and your mental health as well. Obviously, in-home doula visits. So this is more like practical, tangible help with either baby meal prep, emotional support, education, assisting you with whatever you need around the house, whatever's going to take away from that mental load. Maybe going with you to appointments if you're really early postpartum and you're just you're getting the going out scaries. Breastfeeding support, obviously limited. If we need further information from someone else, that's also a resource that doulas provide. I have a few people around the Ipswich, Brisbane area that I will refer to if I know that a mum needs more help with breastfeeding or with postpartum recovery. Obviously, we can also use herbal support, naturopathic consults if there's something really specific or you do need extra support in that area. So tailoring that to be really unique for you and your goals around that postpartum period, and like improving your mental health, improving your nutrition status, improving your energy, even improving your sleep to a certain point. Like there's so much around that you can do that's not necessarily focused on the actual sleep of your baby. But yeah, tailoring it for your breastfeeding recovery, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes it's not about fixing something, it's about preventing something. So if you know that you might be at risk of postpartum anxiety or depression, or you just like to be really proactive about it and build that village and that community that's going to help you feel held, resourced, and more like you again, it's definitely something to start thinking about prior to having your baby, unless you're already there. But any step is still a positive step, no matter where in your postpartum journey you are. But if anything I said like resonates with you, needing help or needing support doesn't mean that you're failing. Postpartum journey is absolutely insane. especially as a first time mum, even as a second time, third time, whatever mum, like every baby's so different, which means every postpartum journey is so different. Um, and we can't do it alone. It's impossible. And it's wise to ask for help and recognize that in yourself as well. So if you're looking for that kind of care, whether it's naturopathic, postpartum doula support, or just further resources, um, yeah, contact me, postpartum naturopath on Instagram, or I'll put my details down below. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to Mums and Microbes. If this episode helped you, please share with a fellow mama or a fellow pregnant to be mama. And yeah, remember, you don't have to do it alone. Building that village does take time, especially if it's a brand new village. But yeah, it will be there forever. Till next time, take care.